Hello and welcome to the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament. Today it's Radkin versus UpliftingChafe. My name is Dawnvenure, and I'm accompanied here by Vextopher. How are you doing?
We're doing good. Ready for a good race?
I'm excited. This is the upper half. It's just week 2, so the upper half really just means whatever person won their first race during the first week. But it should be still a good show.
Loving the
They put in the
sunglasses.
time.
I'm loving the sunglasses over there on the Uplifting Chase side. That's the file name.
I'm actually kind of sad that people don't put the full name. Like, if it's just 3 letters, it's kind of bothers me. So I kind of like Uplifting Chafe more at this point. He's winning in my head.
I will say I've never seen that as a file name. I like it.
Yeah, like with the open shirt, I really enjoy seeing a uncle into front of escape start, just because you do have that guaranteed weapon to kill the enemies down there. And it's a possible sequence break, but it kind of like separates the two. However, how I've always looked at Hyrule Castle was the front half, which is just the first 3 chests going down to Zelda Cell, and then the back half being the drop down back of escape into the Dark Cross being the other half of the dungeon. So it doesn't really bother me opening the Dark Cross until later.
Yeah, I kind of like the Sank start. I'll go into CAC first, I think. I like the info you get out of the Sank chest. You pull the map there and then you know.
Yeah, right now we're just waiting for Radkin to ready up, and then we should be getting the show on the road.
I did take a look at both runners' last week round 1 matches, and both did do the Uncle start into front of escape, so we might get some good sync.
Like, the curiosity with that is was it the runner's decision to do that, or was that their mentor's decision to do that? Because I know when I mentored someone, they chose to do the CAG start first.
That's actually a good point.
Where I tend to like to tell my runners to go into the front of escape, but also go to the front of the escape has its own skill requirement. Knowing the quick kills on the blue guards. And they both start early.
That's gonna be fun. Maybe we'll get some low percentage Dark World. See who's comfortable.
The thing with like low percentage Dark World is you don't really have to dip the dungeons at all. You can if you really want to, and we're already seeing a little bit of diversion. I like how Radkin's doing it better. You can get this tier 1 triple right away, and then if it's something good, you can kill a green guard by Uncle, and then come back and get another tier 1 triple. So UpliftingChafe might be missing 80 rupees already, which might be something to look out for in KEK.
Possibly 100 if they decide to do the green guard thing, right?
No, it's just 80, because if they do the green guard, well, if they don't do the green guard, then it's 160 they're missing out on. And I kind of don't like that Radkin didn't take magic there. You kind of like want some magic just in case you do find powder and hammer going into town. Ooh, UpliftingChafe also didn't even do a tier 1 triple, so maybe they aren't so aware of it, or maybe they just care about the tier 2. But doing front of escape kind of guarantees you a tier 2 triple.
This is about a screen escape, but 180 rupees, 160.
Yeah, Chafe did know the fast way to kill this enemy. But you're definitely right about them both going Uncle into front of escape. I think this is more of a correct call, in my opinion, of where to go with a guaranteed weapon.
Yeah, so we'll see if they take a Death Warp and do Dark Cross now they got that key.
I really don't recommend it. Like I said, if it logically wants you to go back there, it'll give you a fire rod or lamp, and you can do it later. The punishment is if there's like a glove back there, and it's like a glove-locked glove. And that's the first one you need. Full magic, alright. God love full magic drops.
See if they both take out the chain guard the same way. Oh,
Ooh, okay. Miss the pot throw, it's fine.
try
Take
again.
the health. Yeah, I'm not the greatest at the ball and chain guard, like the right distance to stand to not get hit by them.
Yeah, there we go.
Ugh.
Radkin got it for the last couple slashes.
Alright. So this does mean that there's a item in Dark Cross, and it looks like Radkin's actually gonna go for it, gonna take the Death
Yeah.
Warp. This is
Here
where the
goes.
diversion starts. I can find a bottle in Sanctuary. So they're probably gonna take this all the way back to the back of Escape. Oh, they don't have bombs to go to the back. So they can only get Dark Cross, but they can use their sword to guide them.
Oh, we
the
got
most
green
dangerous
guards.
room is the snake.
The we don't really know the pack yet, right? The green guard is just magic. It's full magic being the first drop.
I don't know the magic or the prize packs, but that could either be the really good pack where it's like big magic, fairy, and 8 bombs. Otherwise, it's just all magic.
I think it's all magic because I think it's a heart in the for the other pack.
Like I said, I don't really know the packs very well. I think I've seen the list once.
So far, so good in the Dark Cross, though.
And UpliftingChafe avoiding the information at Lumberjack just to try and be a little bit more aggressive. And try and hit KAK as early as possible.
Yeah, the other time that you can really check that is getting boots and taking it with Bonk Rocks.
Ooh, tier 2 triple is just single rupees.
So this is going to feel really good for Radkin when he gets back over to KAK and he's already good to go. Bombs or no bombs.
Yeah, unfortunately there was nothing in the Dark Grass form.
It was a good Dark Cross.
When you don't have money like this, you're at 43. I'd probably say drop into the well, get the first 3-4 chests, or 3 chests? I don't really know. And yeah, 4 chests. And just pick up the 10 rupees up front, then just go buy bombs.
Yep.
But he's going straight down to the basement of Blind's hut, hoping for some bombs. Oh, it's Radkin. I might even set up another tier 1 triple.
We are going to get a lumberjack check for Radkin, too.
10 arrows.
Early flippers, so money might be really important.
Yeah, with Zora being in Logic now.
I think we're going to check Sick Kid, then we're going to check Tavern, then go buy bombs.
Yep, you want to like do as many chests or checks as you can to try and get bombs before buying bombs. Is checking Dark Cross early generally worth it? I'd say no. It might not be in Logic for quite a while, so it might not even have anything. And if you don't really know how to get there efficiently, it's just a big time loss compared to if you do check it later with Lamp.
I think with 3 hearts, it's also a little bit harder because the snakes can get really annoying if you miss a slash or miss a poke early.
Yeah, then, as I mentioned, he didn't have bombs to even continue all the way to the back.
So we're both in Kakariko, so we're gonna. So we are gonna drop in the well before we go buy bomb. Radkin side.
My favorite items basically doubles your health, and there are bombs in the well. 6
Oh,
bombs, in fact.
gonna pay off.
Yeah, that feels bad if you're UpliftingChafe, having to find the money to go buy bombs and then come back just to fill your inventory with an excess amount.
Yeah, that would have bit me for sure. I would have gone and bought bombs after a tavern and a sick kid if I was Radkin.
Yeah, I like just the assured play. And there's more bombs on the bottle vendor.
So we did buy bombs.
At an exorbitant price.
When we talk about double dipping dungeons, we're double dipping blinds. Oh, good thing we did. I want to get Kane, regardless of whether or not ice is a pendant or crystal at this point. I just kind of feel a little bit better. Just like, well, at least I don't have to do ice the long way.
So now the next question be is, if you're uplifting Chafes, would you blind check or would you hard check the race game?
Without shovel, I would check it. I wouldn't blind check it. I'd just go look.
For me, I think I would actually blind check it because we got flippers as a large amount of progression for the early game. And so I feel like there's like a worse chance of there actually being something there. It's half magic.
Oh, I would get that.
Yeah, that's worth grabbing.
And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go grab the half magic. I think it's so early in the seed, that's just gonna be so helpful for the longest time.
Yeah, and like some places you don't really need it, because if you manage your magic well, but like let's say they find book or something in the glove and like a lamp, and they need to go to desert or something, the ice rod will do you just need to shoot them twice with the ice rod to kill each landmo. So that's where it would come into play as being really useful early.
Well, we haven't got a map yet, I think.
We have not. So the blind check.
So we're just gonna go South Shore over on Uplifting. Gonna go South Shore and into the well on UpliftingChafe. I doubt they go over and check Desert Ledge and go to Agina, but you never know.
I'm a bit curious for Radkin's side, like, at 300 rupees, you're kind of at this critical point of money where you need 200 more rupees to even check Zora. Does he go and set up a Houlihan?
I don't know. I think I would go South Shore first, and as we just saw, that's probably going to be... He's going to be very happy when he goes and checks the well, if that's where they go next. We just got 300 rupees. That sets him up perfectly. So it's looking like that first 160 rupees we got out of those tier 1 tree pulls is going to be meaningful. Possibly.
And the bombos.
I mean, Radkin is making the South Shore play.
Yeah, this is like the most dense thing next to do, so it's pretty natural. Like when you're doing like open modes like this, it kind of just feels like the first 15 minutes is it's just a cutscene that you play out and see what items you're at after that, and decide where to go.
Oh.
Yeah, don't want to take a hit there. Alright.
Boulders are not cooperating, but they're Heartman. That's good.
They cooperated with the hearts.
Yeah, it does feel nice when you can get it with the bomb. But here we go. Here's where the if we don't get a bunch of money in these chests, it's gonna feel pretty bad for UpliftingChafe. Having the flippers and probably gonna walk up the ice like a cave without Zora money.
I'm actually a bit surprised that they didn't use more bombs or something to kill them a bit easier than with the 20s is the stun prize.
That is so nice.
That's how you're gonna farm with that extra rupees for Zora.
Yeah, so now it's not gonna matter.
And then Radkin using the ice rod.
Oh,
to
good. Those are
quickly
good.
kill.
I was just going to mention that it's always not the greatest thing in the world whenever you get through Mini Moldorm Cave, and it was kind of annoying, and then all of a sudden you have Hookshot in Mini Moldorm Cave, and you're like, well, this would have been nice.
Yeah,
30 seconds ago.
Vortex with the right idea, using the ice rod to kill all the mini Moldorms.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have thought of it on the fly. Good thought.
I honestly wasn't even sure if it dealt damage to him, so that's why I didn't say it myself. I don't think I've ever had magic for ice rod for that room.
Yeah, well, we both have Zora money now, so that's pretty much the obvious next play.
Yeah, so at this point, that tree pull at the very start of the game's not gonna punish UpliftingChafe because of that stun prize.
Yeah, that was a very smart check. Either the mentor or the racer deciding that, yo, we should check the stun prize. We got the hook shot, let's do it. And yeah, not something everybody would. It's easy to forget. Probably not going to need the high item, 50 rupees.
No, we'll definitely not need that. Know how generous this money was, or this seed was with money.
They are both going up to Hobo. I don't know why you'd skip that with early flip at this point. We're running out of checks, really. And mod.
Yeah, it looks like the next major progressive item is probably going to be flute or glove and lamp.
Yep. And with that hook shot, it just screams mountains. But we did get the early moon pearl, so Mitz and Hammer give us Dark World access too. So.
4 upcoming items here in the waterfall on the Zora and the Zora ledge. Let's hope for something big. Want to see progression here.
Let's see what our little waterfall fairy friend has for us. There's the hammer. Yeah. Now I don't know what the seed's saying because we're 1 item from Dark World access and 1 or 2 items from Logical Mountain access.
So I guess since they're just kind of following each other, they're probably going to go to Sasrola's Closet into Eastern. That's what I would do at least. I really don't like checking Aginas at almost any point in the game.
Yeah, it's not a fun one. If you're still looking for 1 item at the end and you're over in the mire area and it just fits mire and desert, might as well jump down and check it. But
Yep, I guess that's where we're going next with saving and quitting. It's another big 20 by this game fish.
yeah, so I guess Radkin's up Dark Cross, and that's pretty much the only difference so far.
Yeah, you can kind of see like how close these two are. Just a little bit of inefficiency in how to clear the mini Moldorm cave, as well as how they routed through the town, losing just a little bit of time.
Yep. Well, I'm not actually sure what was faster, figuring out the stun prize and grabbing rupees that way, or getting them from the tree poles early. Probably about the same.
That's just an unknown, but either way, it didn't really cost them that much time to stun and kill enemies because they're along the way. Another bottle and a heart.
Do you did Eastern here? Oh, we got a map check on the left side there. Green pin to Hera.
Yeah, I was looking at Sahasrola's Closet, so I actually missed the map check myself.
Yeah, I only caught green pin to Hera. I guess you do dip Eastern unless you want to go check Agina, so.
Yeah, that only really. It is good to do a map check early. Like even if you find bow here, let's say you find bow and you find all 3 items. If you don't know if it's a pendant or a crystal because you didn't do a map check before entering, It's a bit awkward if you want to make the choice to go and try and fight the boss, not knowing if it's a crystal or a pendant.
Yeah, the Vortex making a good point. They could also go back and escape out of logic. That's a little easier of a sell for Uplifting Chase because they haven't done Dark Cross yet, but it wouldn't feel great. Right.
Because just trying to find the key red is probably one of the hardest things to do at this point for him.
Yeah, well, he already did half of it, so you wouldn't want to do it again.
Zora had 20 rupees.
Yeah, Hookshot was in Mini World Arcade.
Even Chafing could use that hook shot to skip going to the room above. Yeah, it's more. I'm just like, come on, game, give me something to work with here.
Something progressive. This is a chest. Oh, great!
Ooh, mushroom. That's gonna be the next thing to do.
I feel like you follow that.
You could actually sequence break as well and do the magic bat with what they have.
Yeah, they could magic bat. That's very true.
But I don't think it's worth it at this point. Just because you don't really have a quick access to it, nor do you have a reason to go to town. If Lamp and no gloves is here, we would need a Master Sword or a Cape to do Aga.
Yeah, I don't know what our next progression is going to be. There's 3 items that give us access to a whole bunch of more checks. 3 different items and 3 different checks.
Yeah, I guess what would just be flute, gloves, and lamp.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what's in the big chest here in Eastern, if it's flute, I think you save the mushroom and fake powder. But maybe not. I'd probably turn to the mushroom thing.
Yeah, I'd turn it in next. I remember hearing like other commentators say how like Sphere 1 fetch quests are usually something really good. And so a lot of people prioritize turning in mushroom. So I've been like trying to use that for myself, but I'm not really sure if that's actually the case.
I mean, it does give you sphere complexity quickly. Although the mushroom was just an Easter. Now we got a Master Sword, so...
It's a Master Sword. Yeah, this is looking like an Aga play now.
Yeah, who...
with the Master Sword and the next progressive item being Lamp, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, one item gets us several different places of progression. It really, whichever item they find next is really going to change the way the seed plays out. But we're going to get a... Looks like we're getting a Gina from...
no, they're taking the portal to the
mushroom
shop. Yep.
Smart.
Yeah, so especially with that hook shot, I'm even thinking even more about Aga now. Because once you complete Aga, you can go to West Dark World using the hook shot and the hammer flippers.
Yeah, they both went different ways to mushroom. Both went to mushroom.
I think the way UpliftingChafe went is actually the faster way to go.
I think you're right. Oh, it's mitts.
It's
okay.
glove. So never mind.
Yeah,
We're both wrong.
Now we're in the Dark World.
Yeah, we have Dark World access. I would.
Yeah, are you a?
I think I'd start in town. They have hammer. They have a couple bottles. And yeah, Thieves Town is completable in logic.
Yeah, it looks like they're both actually starting Hype Game.
I'm fine with Hype Game early too. Like it depends on the skill of the runner as well as how comfortable they feel. Like 4-heart Thieves Town is not a fun time, even with Blue Mail.
It's a little better with hookshot because you can at least skip a couple of rooms. Get rid of those grasshoppers. Get their harmless away maybe a little better. I don't know, I might have checked back of escape first, although maybe they go Hive Cave clear south depth.
South Dark World.
Yeah, South Dark World over to dig game save and quit out the Sanctuary.
That's probably what's gonna happen.
And now we got red mail, so Thieves Town's looking a little better.
Don't really see a reason to really go towards pod. Okay. Thieves Town, pod. I think ice.
Yep. We got a 5-6 in Meyer.
No, not ice.
Either east. I don't know if it's Eastern or Desert. That's the other 5-6. I didn't catch it first. Looks like it's Eastern. Crackers got us covered.
Yep, just making our way to Hype Cave and not Hype Cave. The digging
Stumpy.
game.
Nah, we're going to Stumpy first. We gotta say hello to our little wooden friend. He's got the bow.
Oh, alright. Now I'm really not liking this layout if I'm a runner here.
Nope.
It might be out of logic currently, but I think with one little lamp, pet is in play. But
nope, still need the book.
There's still so much more. No, you don't need the book at all.
Oh, I guess you're right. There you go. You just can't check it. Oh, fire rod in the
Fire
game.
rod.
So that does put the rest of Eastern in logic. Although no, because the big key was in big key chest.
Yeah, I'm still not really sure I'd like to go. Like back of escape for sure. That's 3 items immediately.
Yep.
But Radkin's going back to going to Dark World, gonna go to
We're thinking about it. Oh, we're both doing the same thing again.
Pyramid to pod.
Oh, we're changing our mind. Yeah, I think they are gonna do the back escape thing.
Like Radkin's probably gonna do Pyramid to pod.
You think they throw in Catfish?
No. If they do Catfish, they might just walk back down and hookshot across to go to West Dark World, maybe. Oh, this. I know why. Leo is the mentor, so Radkin's gonna 100% go into Pendant Pod. It's one thing you know about Leo is she loves Pendant Pod. So if I was BenCreighton, I would actually make the call to also do Pendant Pod, knowing who the other mentor is.
There is the book though. Yeah, I mean, Pod's not so terrible of a decision, I don't think, right? Because it did throw the bow right at you.
Yeah, well, like, it's not the bow, there's 4 items at least, even if you can't get to the boss, so... it's still a lot of items in one spot, but...
Or choosing not to light the torch. Oh, we gotta check Dark Cross. We can chase that.
Yeah, like, their heart count is very low, at least on Radkin's side. So entering crystals at this point is actually kind of spooky, but they do have 1 red potion, but red potion gets better with more health. Like, even with red mail, traps still do full heart of damage.
Yeah, I think those loud casts might have been a good play too, just because you can pull clear skull wounds, although they are low heart.
So, like, part of the reason why I go for metagaming isn't just who your opponent is. Obviously, a lot of new runners in the field. You're not gonna know everyone, but if you feel you have an equal chance against them, if you do the same things, then I don't see why you wouldn't want to do the same things as them.
The more I think about it, I don't absolutely hate this in a pod hit play. They throw the bow right at you. You can at least clear. It's 5 items. It's pretty dense. I'm a little bit of trouble, and there we go. Got the torch.
You know, I wasn't even thinking about pod having the bow requirement for the right side. that's why bow is more interesting for its pod.
Yeah, it kind of points you that way. You get it from Stumpy, you go clear race game, you get Fire Rod, and you're like, all right, well, go to Village of Outcast, or I can go into low percent pod. Am I more comfortable with Moth, or am I more comfortable in pod?
Yeah, like I'm still fine just kind of like skipping some things here. You're running out of overworld checks though, to try and like scale up your health before entering a dungeon.
Take the Death Warp out of the bottom here. We gonna potion glitch? We got the bow.
Yeah, the amount of decision making you can do, because like Eastern's completable. I don't think it's in logic, right? Because the big key was in the
No, big key was in vanilla.
chest.
Yes, so you need the lamp for Eastern completion.
I also wasn't actually counting the items there either, which I normally do.
I think
I don't even know there's an item on the boss. It is a 5/6 crystal. But...
I think they got map in the first chest. Well, actually, maybe you're right. I don't think they got the compass.
But like, Skull Woods is completable, and Desert Palace might even be completable. So there's.
Let's go with the book. Although Radkin does not know that yet because they have not done the back of the scheme.
And so like, it's kind of dangerous to go on Skull Woods with 6 hearts, but I guess Red Mail helps. Having half magic. Well, half magic doesn't. Well, half magic helps me a Fire Rod, yeah.
Half magic definitely helps.
Come on. And a tempered
and a tempered sword. Now it feels okay. So far, I don't think we've gotten anything of use.
So like that might be the trigger that's gonna go up to Skull Woods after possibly.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I would check the first 4 of these. See if they do. Not a terrible play.
Personally, for me, I really don't like entering Thieves Town unless I plan to full clear it. I know some people like doing it. I don't.
It's a little harder without the mirror.
Yeah, without the mirror, and then you have to set up a death port to go back to the front.
Oh, there we go. That is Ended Pod paying out now, big time.
And flute.
Oh man, yeah, that is. Fire Rod does put that specific basement in logic, so. Yeah, with the Fire Rod and that, it kind of did point to pod basement being a logical progression. That's gonna feel really good because they're gonna have to go back to those outcasts anyways to activate the flute. We know we have to finish Meyer, so we knew we were getting flute.
Once again, 4 hearts, but you have Death Mountain access.
Oh, we're dying.
Logically, and there's so much you can check on the Death Mountain.
Yeah, I mean,
possibly even beat Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think that it's almost certainly the play after you go and activate the flute. I think you might do Skullwoods first since you can complete it, but I don't think they go into Thieves Town. Radkin.
Well, it's like Turtle Rock is also scary because he only has Master Sword and once again 4 hearts.
Well, but if they check all the Village of Outcasts, which they're likely to do, they will get the Tempered Sword out of the brewery.
So, like, this is kind of like why I've recently haven't been even doing the hype cave on over to the in-game because it kind of makes entering Village of Outcasts more awkward. The reason they would go to town is to activate Flute to go up the mountain quicker and just get around the areas faster, but actually it could just be go mode for Radkin.
Yeah, I mean that.
Oh no, we need mirror
We
and
need
possibly Quake, but I mean like
yeah, that hammer yum is pretty good.
But yeah, what I was saying was, I don't like doing Thieves Town unless I have a plan to full clear it.
It
It's
looks
just
like that's what
awkward
they're
to check
doing.
the first 4, and then like later, if you do have to come back, it's like, do you really want to do all the way back of Thieves Town just for 2 items?
Oh, and the mirror and Pod Dark Maze. Oh man.
Wow.
Now we may actually be in go mode.
Well, you definitely complete Eastern, and then you flute to Meyer first.
You've got swamp access now.
Like you flute to Meyer first, you go into desert, and then you go up the mountain. You want to see if you're in go mode.
Yep, I would agree, because yeah, almost certainly that's what they'll do. Well, you finished Eastern. Yeah, you said that. And that was a very... You're never going to hear the end of it.
I
Leo.
think one thing that's gonna... Like, one thing that could really make the play better is if there's like a Quake in Thieves Town here. Like,
Oh,
Pen in
yeah.
Thieves Town. Because Radkin and Leo are gonna go ahead and do all the crystal dungeons first before entering Thieves Town.
Yeah, they're almost they're on a almost 4 heart. They're possibly in 4 heart go mode.
Pen and Pod and logic is just a meme. It's confirmation bias. People remember the good times they have rather than the bad times.
Yeah, I think it's probably a lot of it is density. There's just 5 items in pod, and you had everything but Dark Maze was in logic and fire. In the
Dark Maze, no. The
everything but.
Yeah. Ooh, being crafty with the cane, I like it.
The cane fight for blind just looks really funny.
How about your red goo, please? Radkin takes the first crystal.
Okay, did they go back in and finish it, or do they head out?
No,
Yep,
they
we're
head
leaving. Right, 30. You're right, 35 minutes in, and we've got the first crystal. Now we're gonna go clear Skullwoods. Looks like over on UpliftingChafe side.
Yeah, with what they have, it's the only thing that really makes the boss easier would probably just be more health.
Yeah.
Redkin doing the really quick checks. Got some extra health.
Yep. Got the boot. Got the book. Which you might not care about. Probably don't care about. I mean, at that art level, you probably do clear most of the easy checks and builds if you can just walk over there. So they may go up the mountain first. They can see if they can go mode Skullwoods.
Yeah, like I was saying, I would do the information checks first to see how much you really need to clear. You want to, if you know you're in go mode, you still want to do at least a check that's going to make you more comfortable with full clearing the game, or clearing the game.
For sure.
like I said, I probably wouldn't even enter a village of outcasts after activating flute. I would just go flute to Maya.
Oh, we're getting grabbed by the wall now, so those berries were not being kind. UpliftingChafe.
Yeah, like Vortex is saying, the only real chance of getting that free tempered is if Radkin doesn't feel comfortable on Moth. Ledge hop. Yeah, Vitreous, because Dark Mire on top of that.
Yeah,
Vitreous
that's true.
is spooky.
Dark Mire is a possibility at this point.
And it's Quake, so we still need to find stuff from
we
Quake.
do,
So
we do need Quake. So, all right.
that's a little bit of relief for him, knowing that they do have to do extra checks.
I mean, you're like, oh, I'm sad I'm not in go mode, but at least I have to go open more chests to find more health. And hopefully a sword.
Yeah, like throughout the runs, I really like as a runner, when I'm racing someone, I do like to see what I got, where I got it, and just think about the possibilities that where my opponent might have gone and what they've done to try and guess where they're at. Obviously, my opponent can do the exact same thing as me, but I only really expect that if that's the best case scenario, like the only good place left in the game.
Alright, so we're doing first here. And then we're gonna see the moth right here.
And Desert is boots locked.
Oh, so we also need boots. That's both good and bad, I guess. At least you know you're getting boots at some point.
Yeah. You know for sure you're getting boots. And I just like having boots for GT.
UpliftingChafe gonna take advantage of half magic now.
And Chafe getting their first crystal.
We might get the lamp here, Nagina.
Yeah, I don't think going to
now
the mountain yet is that great.
no,
Either.
after now knowing that Mire is Quake and Desert is boots locked, you're a couple items still to go. There's no reason to go up there.
Like you can do the 2 water dungeons first before heading at the mountain, and even Skull Woods. Just to try and ensure you find a Quake for a Turtle Rock.
Yep. Got the cape over there in Skullwoods over on UpliftingChafe side, so I guess you
Check
bumper ledge. Check bumper ledge check.
I was about to ask where Radkin is, but footed up the mountain.
Yep. We're gonna go rescue Old Man, and looks like they're gonna go get their information right away. And I mean, if you can go into Turtle Rock, I mean, again, that's a lot of items. You got Hookshot Cave, you got Super Bunny Cave, there's a lot of items up on the mountain for them.
Yeah.
So really, if it is, Quake, or maybe they'll find Quake and boots up on the mountain with all those checks if they can get to Turtle Rock.
Yeah, like with their amount of health, it's nice. I might have fluted to go to the witch's hut and fill that empty potion with a blue goo. Just to have extra safety for if I do have to go into Turtle Rock with the Master Sword.
Yeah, they are on red mail, so it's not so bad.
Like, half magic too does help, but I'd still be kind of worried.
That and, we got the shovel on bumper ledge. That may actually mean something.
Fetch quest for a fetch quest.
not going to be getting that shield. No, I think you go into Turtle Rock. So, if you can.
Definitely. You don't want to double dip it. Or, like, come up the mountain the second time or third time.
Yep. We also have Tower of Hera as our other 5-6 pistol.
I might have entered Tower of Hera just for a second, see what the first, like, 2 checks are. Since one of them could be an item.
Well, you also know you're getting boots. I mean, if they don't know the bomb Hera pod, it might not be worth it. You know, but if you do, maybe you do enter.
Let's see, this fetch quest for fetch quest is worth it.
No, they're gonna chase it right away.
Yeah, Radkin didn't actually look what's on the floating island.
I didn't catch that. Well, they have them here. They're going back up here in a minute with on Dark DM. They might just blind grab it.
Yeah, I think it looked like bombs at the shovel spot.
Yes, it was.
So they're going to Gaines and then into Desert. On ALTTPR side.
Yep, and we already know Desert is boots locked. Interesting how both runners are getting to Desert in different ways, since we have no mirror over on ALTTPR side. That was found in Pendant Pod, as well as the Fluke and the Mitts. They're gonna get funneled into Pendant Pod pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're running out of checks pretty quickly.
What is Paradox have for us? Oh, there's the boots and Paradox.
Alright, that's
Now we're definitely Quake from go mode now.
I would have gotten those boots far later because of being able to clear the water dungeons.
Yep. I mean, that may have been the argument was, hey, do we want to know whether or not we're in go mode for Swamp? You know, go moding Swamp is very fast, full clearing left side, and everything is.
So I'm not. Okay. Got the bomb jump the second try. Yeah, I'm not a fan of how ALTTPR went to Desert before Aquinas. Like, Aquinas is the thing you kind of want to end on naturally, but what if there's boots in it, you know? Like, you don't know that until you check it.
Yeah. I think both. I don't really know what I like better. I think if you have full clearable desert access, you definitely do desert first, but if you don't.
Right, then it is Ether. So we can go in and complete Turtle Rock.
Maybe we'll find the key to Mire. Oh, we're not? Yeah, no, they're gonna.
There's some quick checks here.
Yep. Will they blind check the island since they forgot to look?
So ALTTPR gonna do a sequence break. Going. Oh. Thought they were. Oh, they still can. The battle. Yeah, probably gonna go from here up to the mountain. Sequence break a bit.
Yeah, that Pendant Pod play really changes how this season is out for sure.
Yeah, sometimes you just get lucky. And you find 3 major progressive items in one spot, in one dungeon.
Alright, so now we're gonna go to Turtle Rock. Unfortunately, we are on a medallion hunt.
Yeah, there's a couple places for sure we know it can't be. In Mire itself and inside the pyramid.
So the mirror, let's see, the mirror needs lamp, logically, because it was a dark maze.
Yep.
It's a good
That doesn't. But it doesn't really narrow down
No.
where it could be, and that's
There it is.
that's go mode. We're Radkin at 47 minutes and 50 seconds in.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, it's up to them how much they want to check to try and get silvers, more health, if they need land. Tempered.
Otherwise, we're on Masters for silverless right now. And we know that they're probably pretty unlikely to go get the tempered sword in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with these being a pendant. They've got almost no reason to go there.
At this point, they did find a lot of hearts with how many checks they've done. 11 hearts, red mail. You have 3 bottles available to you, one with a red goo in it. It's likely that they might be comfortable enough to finish.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta feel good about making the first Dark World play you make other than Hype Cave and South Dark World is Pendant Pod and you get 3 major progressive items. And then actually going to check what your go mode is and actually finding both go mode items on your one trip up the mountain.
Yeah, that's like you said, if I was playing, I would be, or even mentoring, I would be telling them to not do the mountain until after Swamp and Mire. Not Mire, Swamp and Ice.
They have to be feeling good now.
Yeah, especially when you get to go mode. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dungeons.
Yeah.
5 crystals.
Including Swamp and Ice, which can be slow depending on layout.
Or 6. Well, I'd say 5. They dipped desert ones, right?
Well, yeah, but they didn't. They had checked Agina earlier, right? And so they didn't go walk through desert. They went up to the torch and said, nope.
6 dungeons? Yeah, it's just an insane amount of dungeons to go mode.
Yeah, with boots, of course.
Like, this is the dream here.
Looks like we are going to go to Laser Bridge.
Yeah, with the amount of health that Radkin has right now, they took a lot of chip damage.
Safety door here, yeah.
Yeah, go in, then just fall down twice.
Yeah, well, and you got to do Dark Turtle Rock. So, 2 hearts, that can be a little... If it goes off the rails. No pun intended. Yeah, so, I mean, I guess, you know, we gotta figure out how comfortable they are with Dark Mire.
Oh, look at that, the heart refill.
Oh, man. Yeah, we got Dark Mire and Dark Turtle Rock are the last 2 big. I don't have the lamp, so this is sort of annoying.
I mean,
Rooms.
It depends on like how much they clear too. Like, UpliftingChafe checked obviously more things in Skull Woods, which gave them the cave, which is actually something that's actually really useful during the Vitreous fight.
Now, we are going all the way up Hera. There's no reason for them not to do this. UpliftingChafe. They have no idea that 3 of their progressive items that they're currently looking for in Hera are actually in time. I gotta think that's their next play. Maybe with the KP check Spike Cave on your way down and then... like we are good to go in Dark River High. Over on Radkin's side.
Yeah, that room is all visual cues. Using the fire bars, and then you just know, like, once you're going a certain direction, then you swap what buttons you're pressing.
Moldorm being Moldorm over FakeUpliftingChafe style.
Yeah, no invincibility items or
laser skips.
Yeah, gotta do laser skips.
We took the safety door, so we're okay. I'm just like some people love the bootsless laser skips, and some people love the booted laser skips, and not that all that many people like both.
Getting Moldorm's second try and going back in for the basement.
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good safety item too to find.
Powder.
One of my favorite things to find in the game outside the blue mail.
This beetle. Okay.
You get the extra health from that powder. Already paying off.
Taking advantage of the powder right away. Nice.
Oh, I really thought they were going to make use of the bug net too.
Yeah, right? It would have been a bad plan. You're staring down, well, I guess not quite yet. Could be staring down a Master Sword Silver.
Hammer doing tempered sword damage. Need to get 5 hits with a hammer on this boss.
Ice head's gonna be... It really hurts whenever the ice head throws down some ice and you're trying to hammer it.
At this point, you can just go full fire mage and just spam the fire rod if you really want, but he played nice, came down.
You also have half magic. With half magic, I think, oh, there we go. Fire mage. It's
more hammer shreds.
Okay.
Yep, take that like you.
Yeah, you're probably gonna need to buy some blues here before you head back up for GG.
If you're comfortable with the hammers, you can still just use the Master Sword to swing or charge with a slash, but I'd probably just go for swings. Just have a little more distance between you and the enemy.
Yeah, I think it's more useful. If the ice head spits out ice, and I don't have half magic, and I've got a fire rod, I'll just Master Sword like it, so I think it's one extra cycle.
Oh, I remember that final phase where he's chasing you around.
I think I ended up using a Burna in a race one time. But we got no invincibility items over there on Radkin's side, so... Alright, now we go modes and dungeons. Yeah, we're gonna fill up.
Release the bee.
They recently in the new generator changed the way that bottles work with quick swap, and now it changes the same way that shovel flute does.
I'm very not a fan of it. I wish I could toggle that off.
Yeah, it was very confusing yesterday when I started using the new generator.
So with the new bottle generator, the hot fix that they added, the hot patch, the like you said, the bottles stack the same way flute, shovel, silvers, silverless, things like that do, which makes it easier to count quick swaps when you're looking at your tracker. That does help. I like cycling the bottles because gives me like a slight reminder of what's in them every single time I'm quick swapping through it. And then like I'm very not good at using the menu anymore, and so it's really hard for me to actually select the bottle I want. Like, what button do I gotta press? What is the Y button? Do I gotta press X? Like, what do I do? And it's actually very difficult for me to swap to the bottle I want.
I didn't realize that you could do it without an R at first, and I was just menuing every time, and I was like, well, this is a weird change. But I think you get used to it. It's just different. Alright, we got No Mode Ice Palace coming up. Gonna go hit the switch so we can get straight down into Cold Stare. See Radkin's Icebreaker.
Alright, it makes sense for uplifting Chafe. Turn in Green Pendant, do the back of Eastern, and then go to the Dark World before entering Pod. Just because you can't really do it the other way around if you don't have Mirror, which obviously Mirror is in Pod, but they don't know that, so this is the better way to do it, how they're doing it.
Yep. I bet we leave Meyer for last over on Radkin's side, and maybe get lucky and find the land.
Definitely.
I think you check all the easy checks in Swamp and you go there too. Although, that can't be land.
What did you say couldn't be land?
Nothing in Swamp can be land.
Oh yeah.
Mirror was locked.
Yeah, Radkin definitely searching for silvers or a tempered sword.
I mean, a lot of the checks in Ice are just so fast.
Yeah, a lot of them are along the way.
And there's always a sword in Swamp, right? Isn't that the thing everyone says?
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard that. I know I don't play like there is one.
Alright, we're gonna take advantage of half magic. Fire Rod. Burn these pups.
Making sure to save as much magic as possible by actually using the bombos to explode the ice.
Nice fight. Good fight.
Fourth Christian down.
Well, we're finally going to get the pod play here and find all of our answers.
All of them?
Except for, all of them but Quake. And, ooh, it does feel worse to go back up the mountain for uplifting Chafe, which I haven't already checked. Did they do Dark Death Mountain up there? No, they don't have the mitts, so it doesn't feel so bad. Right. The mitts were also in pot.
Yeah, I thought Radkin's timer was also accidentally reset, but nope, it's just slightly off screen. That's okay, we're fixing it live. Showed us the Restreamer, John Snuu. It showed up with these runners. Like, showing what they can do, how much they've learned from week to week, and making some really good decisions. About like how they want to check things and what they're comfortable with, and that's what I like. I like seeing people know what they're comfortable doing. Because obviously if you're uncomfortable doing something and if you take a death, you're gonna lose a lot of time, so.
It's very true. When we got the mentors in here with us racing, it really is nice to do. You know, they can talk you through some tricks. They can talk you through a lot of stuff on the fly, and it really is one of the best ways to learn. To have someone in your ear telling you.
Yeah, it's a little bit like less you have to really worry about. You just kind of got to worry about your gameplay sometimes. I know when I'm mentoring, some of the things that I do as a mentor is I just kind of like lay down a path or several different paths I like to take. And if my runner is comfortable doing it, they do it. Otherwise, you know, if they have feedback, hey, I want to go do this first. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. We can do it that way. And just kind of like back and forth of what we want to do during the seed. And like I said, one of the things I say most is, hey, if you're comfortable doing this, go ahead, do it. It's your choice what you want to make.
We do get the bonk over here in pod on UpliftingChafe side because of the boots.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite glitches is bonking out the stairs.
Yeah, it looks real funny. Alright, we got Diver Down coming up.
Is it the one I didn't learn? Or you got like down one frame or something?
Yeah, I also don't know this one. You got a sword buffer yourself. Stepped into the rail. You can do it on the left, but not on the right. And we get it. Easy Diver Down chest is not providing us any relief with our Master Sword. Alright, now we're about to go to the, oh, that red beetle sneaking in.
Okay, I still kind of like how, like, what order of dungeons Radkin went as well. Obviously you want to complete TR while you're already up there, but I guess you could, well, you're already there, whatever. I like going to ice. The boss there doesn't care what sword you're on if you're just spamming Fire Rod. And then this boss doesn't really care about what sword you're on either. Like, it does a little bit. Obviously, you need 2 swipes to kill a puff or a spin. But, like, the second phase, you just kind of Fire Rod it a couple times. You really need to hit it 4 times with the Fire Rod, Ice Rod, or Master Sword swings.
Okay, well, UpliftingChafe just ended up in the treasure room of pod, apparently, progression. So some good Fire Rod shots over there with Argus. Just taking him out. I think we're down to just Skullwoods and Mire, right?
And Desert. So we're probably gonna go to
Desert. Skullwoods first, and then do the other 2.
Yeah, I'd probably do Skullwoods first. Just hopefully to find like the lamp or silvers or something, or a tempered sword before going into Vitreous. Because that was like the big question here is like, how can you get there safely? Or fight the boss more quickly, easier.
I'm just looking at the what checks our runners have done, and that early pod play completely changed the scene.
And like the fact that they died during Dark Maze before finding the mirror.
Going back.
Going back for it, even when they did find 2 progressive items that were pretty major.
Yep, that's yeah, they very easily could have just been, alright, well, we'll do it later.
It's good enough. We got 2 things out of here. We could have left and come back later if we really need to.
Wonder who decided that, whether that was Leo or Radkin. Nope, we're gonna do it.
Like, it could be a mix of both. Like, hey, I don't want to leave an unknown in here.
Yep.
Like, getting to the boss is too difficult, so we can leave that for sure, but Dark Maze, you know, if you can do it. The thing that just kind of like stumped them was they had 4 hearts. That's the only thing that held them back from completing it the first time there. And I believe the Dodongos deal 1 heart of damage no matter what mill you're on. I think? I don't know for sure.
Oh, Radkin skipping the full magic that was just left in its path.
Shape getting their items. Time to check the Bond
Boot checks.
Yep, boots checks along the way to activating the flute.
Moth cooperate. Just enough. Didn't need the full magic. Moth just stay in the perfect distance just south of the top row of spikes so that every shot hits.
Gotta love a cooperative moth.
That moth very easily could not. But what feels worse, I think, is when the spikes are in the middle of the room because they're, you know, moving all the time, and then you get a real nice hit on Moth, and he goes right into one of the spikes that's just moving across the room. It doesn't count.
Yeah, if I can shape with the newfound flute, can Tiny Smiths can go check Meyer, see if they can do it.
He didn't walk far enough over yet. I don't think.
Nope, not yet. Playing the small key.
Yeah, so we're gonna clear desert here, and then we get to see the nice dark mire. I mean, unless we're uncomfortable, but we're go-moding dungeons, I imagine.
Still probably check some extra, because, like, they want something. It's not that far away. Like, I wouldn't go for the big chest. I'd just go to the boss. They've already found 1 item. It's a 50-50. Yeah, I think if Pod was a crystal, this race would be a lot more close than it is, because they could go there with the fire rod and...
Oh, right away. Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. Pod being a pendant, it's just... Do you do it? The seed did give you everything you needed to do most of the time, so...
It would have been like a 6 heart for Uplifting Chafe at that time, because they did the back escape first. You could at least give it the old college try and at least try and go to the boss once. If Dark Turtles is too much with the fire rod, then at least you gave it a shot once. And if you completed it, you don't have to come back till later. Yeah, but because it was Pendant Pod, it definitely made a difference as to when you wanted to route it in. And unfortunately for Uplifting Chafe, it was much later than Radkin.
Highly required. Got a nice land roll kill. Oh, there is an item please. Alright, well. Now we get to see how the Dark Mire goes. Those rooms are not easy.
I was experimenting the other day with how it works. The first room isn't actually as hard as people think it is. So you just kind of like go in the bottom left corner, place down a Canis and Mario block, and then like move to the right a tiny bit and just throw it straight up. You can hear the click of the door or click of the switch. If you missed it, then you can just pick the block back up and try again. And then for the next room, it's just moving left and down, go through the door. Then the one with the spike is what I actually had the most trouble with, even more than this spike block placement.
I'm in the same way.
For the spike room, what I've actually been doing is just holding up left until I get hit twice by the spike, and then I just hold down.
It's not a bad plan. You're just taking damage.
Instead of like guessing where it is and like guessing how far you move left, I think just taking 2 hours of damage and just going straight down is actually working for me, and it makes that room so much more consistent. Like, alright, I spent 2 hours just to go to the boss, that's fine with me.
So we got a Godmire.
Just pay the tax.
We got our big key on the bridge. Probably gonna grab this hot key and call it good.
Yeah, not even getting the spike chest. I probably would have grabbed it.
Yeah, I might have checked.
Just since you're already there and just what they've been doing. Like, you can just powder this thing. It's fine. Or are they gonna attempt Dark Spooky?
No, they didn't flute back, so they already killed that resets it, so.
Yeah, it's just interesting. They didn't want to powder that for 1 health. I guess that makes sense. It's 1 health. Save some magic. Oh, you get magic the next room.
Right, this is why.
Okay, this
Dark
is
Spooky is hard.
Trying to find the pot. I just kind of like go all the way to the left till you stop moving, and then I just kind of kick up dust until I grab up the pot looking right, trying to find the pot.
Yeah, once you get it, I usually grab it, take like half step backwards, and then throw the Canis Mario block down and hope it hits it.
But they have potions.
And a Mentor in their ear. Oh,
right,
I think we got it. We got it. So that's what you're talking about with the go to the bottom, throw the bomb, or throw the block.
Yep. Like here, I'd go up left, I hit 2, then I go down. And potion time.
Yep. Smart, you definitely don't want to do Canis and Mario room again. Since we don't have to hit the switch, since we were in a Godmire and didn't have to worry about the I think I also get hit by those little I don't know what they are, the darkness door bugs.
I have no idea what those are called either.
Tried to powder an anti-fairy in this room. There's an easier one, they'll get this easy.
Yeah, Chafe, you're gonna go and full clear Mire, searching for that Quake.
Nice. Yeah, we're good. Full eyes in here instead of going up the mountain.
Ooh, that lightning just took all the way around him. Cooperating. I usually just do bomb tosses, but they're low on bombs too.
We're just tanking it. Oh,
ooh, power.
Oh no.
These do good. Alright. A little too close for me. I'd probably be using arrows here. We have enough arrows. If you're really concerned about it, you can throw it down to Ice Palace and go buy a arrow upgrade and refill to 35.
Alright, well, that's...
doing the world's easiest bomb jump. Just wedge yourself in the corner, place it down, and just stand still.
Yep, 7. We got 7 crystals. We're about to go into Gans Tower.
This little game people like to play. There's 22 locations that the big key can be in Gans Tower. And you kind of guess which one it's at.
Thinking 5. It's gonna be in... I'm thinking Hope Room into Stealthos Room. Thinking 5.
I usually like guessing like 1 or 2. Oh wait. Okay, I was just trying to see what Radkin was doing. He's like, did I miss it? Did he not do Moth? Is that why he's going this way? But no.
No, we're just doing some quick ones. I think we're still looking for a sword or silvers.
Yeah.
It never feels good, especially if you're new, just to do Master Sword silvers.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable. I don't think anyone likes Master Sword silvers.
There's the lamp.
Oh, it was in King's Tomb.
In King's Tomb.
Oh.
You need to logically go into pod.
Get the mids.
To get the mitts. To get the lamp. To get the mirror.
Yeah, I think Vortex was saying that he thought it was on Smith Chain. Pretty close, still locked by the mids.
Oh, you'll also need to float at the mountain to get the boots.
That's a good point. Lamp Torch glitch is a lot easier than the Fire Rod glitch, and then with Master Sword and Silverless, like I mean, how good you are getting triples with the Fire Rod, it's pretty easy to run out of magic. I really like the layout.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't go and refill at least one more potion, but I guess they can just get some fairies in the bottom instead.
They just buy one. Right. They had the money.
It's just kind of funny that you actually had to go get the lamp and the
Yeah.
not to get the lamp, you had to get the tinsmiths and the flute to logically get that lamp. Because flute was the logical access to Death Mountain to get the boots.
Oh jeez. That's pretty terrible logic, isn't it? Oh man. Like a logical double dip into pod plus mountain in between.
Yeah, if I'm running, I like seeing 1 or 2. The reason why I say 2 is because you want the first one to be a small key, then the second one being the big key.
We do have people guessing them. I'll keep track.
You know, a pair of 6s, a pair of 13s.
Oh, Vortex is me with 5. Find out. Check Hope Room first. See if they go right side with the key. Take it out. Nope.
My preference would be going to the right side here. Half magic. I would definitely be going right side. That's just how I route. In my head, doing the Stealthos room takes too long to continue to the left.
I do this route every single time. Go straight to the stuff. After Hook. Okay, here we go. This is 3.
Actually, that's 4 because there's the torch.
Oh, you're right. 4.
Now we're at 7.
Oh, looks like we're going into swamp on Uplifting Chafe side before we're going back up the mountain.
Yeah, this is what I would be doing. Just because it's unknown if
There we go.
Number 8. No 8s today.
Who wins? Does the runner win if everyone is wrong? Is that
If we're going by the Price is Right rules, Mega Club's the winner. Congrats. And actually, Pomoxis Slayer for saying 6 first. Closest without going over.
Without going over. Taking the safe mimic strat. Get him up in the corner, turn him around.
Yeah. Because it's unknown what Turtle Rock is. It could be Quake to go into Turtle Rock from UpLiftingChafe's point of view. Which is why I think this is the more correct call.
We did see UpLiftingChafe practicing Diver Down right before the stream. Putting it to use here. This Master Sword climb is no joke.
Well, that's why I have medallions. I personally more. Oh, look at that. So there's not only the regular stun prize. There's actually a second prize if you freeze the enemy using either Ether or Ice Rod, and then smashing them with a hammer is another prize that just stays.
And we're just gonna bombos all the gauntlet. You know what? Just press the button, go to the room.
I'm a fire mage when I go up the the gauntlet. I just spam the fire rod as much as I can. Like that previous room is not so bad with Master because everything dies in one hit, but they'll have our preferences.
We're gonna just that red Zyvac is not mean.
Like using the medallion so much, they gotta pay attention to their magic for the climb yet.
We just need a little bit here from just enough to use KS more.
Oh yeah, Radkin is pretty low on bombs at a whole 0.
Yeah, no, we're not taking the safety room. I'll let they grab the one in the pot.
Nice kill on Argus there, over on UpLiftingChafe's side.
Yep. And now we're gonna go up the mountain.
Get our Quake, get our go mode.
Smart to grab that magic over there. I can see. Right, pretty good. No frame rules on the bridges and the dashing. That's always nice. Lamp through this room. Oh, bonk strats. And Torch 2. Oh, we're not even checking the helmet.
Okay, they're going back.
I think they're gonna maybe grab the bombs.
No.
No, just gonna check the helmet.
Yeah, there's 2 quick checks to try and get a upgrade.
We're gonna bug net these without the. No. Yes, maybe. No. Three spins and you win.
Nope, that was a poke.
Yeah, that was a poke. Angry Moldor now. Another poke. We're good.
What, 3 different tiers of damage there? Got a spin,
Yeah.
a poke, and a slash?
Nah, the last one was a poke as well, I think.
Oh.
Like we got 2 pokes and spin. Maybe it had to have been a slash, otherwise it would have killed him. It's pattern. Yeah, I get you.
That's right, Princess likes to do the different. Or do the
With
same.
Master Sword, yeah. No,
That was-
Master Sword poked as Spider Sword did. But yeah, I think it was a dash. I think it was a dash.
Whenever I talk about it, I always forget.
Yeah, you're
I
not supposed
know
to
when I
poke with
play.
Master. I think you're not supposed to poke with Master Sword because it like, it's just not great. Oh, they do the same pokes and slashes. All right, well, I'm wrong. All right, here we go. Master Sword Silverless Cannon. This is a quick seed.
Yeah, no Quake, or not Quake, no Cape. Try and make it easier. So you just gotta be really patient. That's all you have to do is be patient. Use your safeties aggressively.
Hope it goes in the top right corner.
This would have been a good spot to get. Could have got a couple more spins in there. And it was go mode for FakeUpliftingChafe. 1 hour and 29 minutes and 10 seconds.
Ooh, now you want to phase in here.
Yeah, you want to get out of here. Get these two, then get out.
Yep.
Unless you wanna. Okay, that works.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was actually really good. A little aggressive for my tastes, but
Yeah, we got a lot of safeties. I think this is. Yeah, that's also a very good spot for double spin.
playing Chafe using my favorite thing to get to that room, the red meringue. I think that Sprite's backpack changes colors for the male upgrades. Alright, so
Yeah, we're 3 phase 2.
at this point, I don't want to ever spawn fire bats in a circle. I just hate them.
Yeah. Well, we're 2 hits from dead, as long as we don't hug Ganon.
Yeah, don't hug Ganon. Then we're fine with fire bats, because I think they deal 2 hits of damage for the zone.
Yep, so... Save the magic, because you know you've got a bunch of spins to win here.
I think that is in the dark.
24. Nah, you...
Now you use your potion. Did either one check the pyramid?
On the ledge? I don't know. Actually, I don't think so.
I didn't mark it off. You might have blueberries.
Oh,
okay.
it had bombs. Yeah, no. I think
Yeah, 'cause-
Radkin did before pot.
Okay. Yeah, because the only things left is like Catfish, Spike Cave, and then Hammer Pegs and the Lunchbox. And for Dark World checks. If Lunchbox counts? Purple chest?
I think that is considered light work, actually. Oh, where did Ganon say silver for?
Dark World.
Oh, just Dark World. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure. Silver's probably a catfish, I think. Either that or Pyramid Berry. That's
Oh yeah,
Dark World. It's probably probably a Pyramid Berry. I think we're doing pretty good here. Slow and steady.
I'd probably be using the lamp, just to get service of magic, 'cause I don't think they have any potions left.
Yeah, we're out of potions. But...
And like, I just wanted to like worst case scenario, I miss like everything.
Yeah.
And like, can only get singles or something.
At like a quarter or so, I would definitely start using it. But we'll see. Running out of magic, one hit before the end would not feel good.
Like, I don't really expect a newer runner to get like constant triples using the fire rod, which is why I'd probably just say use the lamp. So to get like the triples, you gotta like hold your sword out and wait till he's about to teleport. Like once he hits the end of the line, and then you light the lamp. You light the torch with your sword still out to retain the spin.
And now I'm getting a little scared.
With the lamp, you lose your sword spin when you activate it.
I think we only have one more fire rod shot. We're gonna use the lamp.
And it's actually still possible to
got
get
him.
it with triples. But
That's
it's still possible to get
standing
triple.
Standing down. Get your GGs in the chat. Crossing the little bridge.
GG's to Radkin.
GG's Radkin.
But then official race time GG time of 1:33:56.
That's a quick time. I'm sure that feels great.
Yeah, getting go mode at like 47 minutes in, and then like not even like go moding all the dungeons, just kind of almost full clearing or like 3/4 clearing the dungeons.
Yeah, if we weren't boots locked and we didn't need Quake, we would have been 4 hearts and on go mode.
That would have been scary.
Yeah, no, that is terrifying.
But you still do just check the really dense spots, try and scale up.
We're not gonna clear Laser Bridge for FakeUpliftingChafe. Looks like they're gonna miss out on that powder. That's probably the difference in having Tempered Sword, being able to do Tempered Sword Silverless and being pretty comfortable, and then saying, well, nope, let's just go mode. Found my key, I'm done.
Yeah, the thing that like surprised me is like maybe they checked as much as they could obviously in GT without doing like any extra checks to try and find a sword upgrade. So I'm kind of curious where that gold sword would be.
Oh, we've got Radkin in here. Laoria.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
GG's.
GG's.
Thank you guys.
Very well routed.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I had a little bit of help. Laoria really pushed me to do stuff that, you know I could do, but I might not have done it right then. Like doing a hammer yum with 4 arcs.
Yeah, I don't think I'd attempt that either. I'd just like, all right, I'm just gonna go through the top again.
Yeah, you guys can
There's
probably
always something in Pendant Pot.
Yeah.
Always.
You guys can probably guess what the big difference in this race was.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw out Pen and Pod.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It completely changed.
So deep.
It was
Right.
such a weird.
I mean, I guess we were actually talking about that, about what the intended logic to get that lamp was dip Pendant Pod and then having to go up the mountain to get boots and with the flute, and then having to go to Graveyard Ledge or not Kingston.
Yeah.
That was dirty.
Yeah, it was gross to say
So-
the least.
Was there anything in your mind after you took the death in Dark Maze of Pod where you're like, all right, we can just leave here, or
We debated not doing it and just leaving. I was like, no, let's do it. And then she suggested doing the hammer jump, and I was like, let's do this. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
I think
it's all about learning.
I think I straight up said like, we already got a lot. We could leave if you want to. He's like, no, I wanna do the jump. I'm like, all right, so yeah, we'll hammer jump it.
Sounds like we're in two different stories here of who said to do the hammer jump.
I mean, I think it was something along the lines of like, you could either leave with what we got, or you could hammer jump to the big chest if you wanna go back. I think it was something along those lines.
yeah, I think this would have been well changed had you guys decided to dip out after that death, because I don't know what would send you back into Pod for the mirror.
God, I don't know.
That might have turned into a last location, really. Like, I'm really glad
Really
we turned
quick.
around and went right back.
Yeah. I will say it's funny because Radkin wanted to start VOO, and like when it comes to Dark World starts, like I'm pretty much like, go ahead and do like Menti whatever you want to do. And so he accidentally started at Link's house. I'm like,
no.
well, guess we're starting Hype Cave now.
Wow.
And then pulling the bow, it's like, all right, I'm telling you exactly where we're going now.
Yeah, I mean, it really, then you go over to Dig Game and it gives you Fire Rod, and you're like, look, this is two more checks in Pod are now in Logic.
So, like, a little bit like difference. Like, if he did start at Sanctuary and went to Village of Outcasts, would you have done Thieves Town right away with 4 hearts in what you've had, or 6 hearts if you did the back of Escape first? Would you have gone into Thieves Town at all?
You would have
had
had
6
Tempered as
hearts?
well. You would have had
Oh,
Tempered.
really?
Where
That's
was
what I was
Tempered?
leading to.
VOO?
Tempered was in
It was in
the Bombable Hut.
Yeah, the brewery hut.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, Master Sword Silverless worked, so I'm not even mad.
This-
Yeah, we were getting a little worried about your magic there at the end.
Oh,
I
he
think
still
I
had
had
a whole
3 bottles.
nother.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he? Oh, okay.
Oh.
We
had like
didn't
3
know.
of goo. Yeah.
Okay, I thought there was only one glue.
Nah.
I
But
didn't know
still,
where.
like, really good thinking to just switch to the lamp for that last little one. Because I was sitting here, like, counting on my fingers how many we had done.
How can you do
'cause-
that? That's
I can't count my
I was-
own. Don't ask me to count my own, but if I'm counting somebody that I'm just watching,
No,
like,
I mean,
we're good.
I thought it was 24 spins. You got like 20
Mhm.
using your toes. What
I,
do you?
Just resetting at 10, you know.
Oh, okay.
I never
mean,
count
or-
Ganon spins in Phase 4. It's just do it till he's dead.
Basically. Like, I just kind of gave him, like, a checkpoint. I was like, all right, halfway done, like, when we hit 12.
Chafe taking a
But-
death in Darkmire.
Oof.
Trying to place the block.
We had trouble there, too.
They
Yeah, I had to use a potion.
they took
Yeah.
a small break before entering it, trying to. I think they were talking if he feels comfortable enough to do Darkmire, and they decide yes to go for it.
Now's the time to learn it. I mean,
Yeah.
The interesting thing though is when they got the flute and Titan's mitts, they had boots already, so they checked Bong Rocks on the way to activate it, but they didn't do King's Tomb,
Oh,
which
no.
is something I
Oh,
might have
that-
done just to get the extra check out of the way, so you
I
don't have to
did-
like save and quit again to Sanctuary.
I did
Yeah.
just realize that. Ooh. Well, like, it was easier for you guys to go up the mountain, right? Because they already had boots, and so you guys had all of the mountain.
Yeah.
Whenever, like, after Pod, and you had flute and everything, and so you're like, all right, well, we can clear both Dark and Light World Death Mountain checks all the way through.
Well,
so
and
it was.
with the flute and the mitts, like, and we had already checked the mire area and there was nothing there. Flute and mitts was just kind of screaming mountain at that point. And we like literally going through KAK, we got, what was it, the cane and the ice rod. And I think I legit said to Radkin, like, okay, so cane and ice rod is kind of already pointing to Turtle Rock slightly. Obviously, we don't have to worry about that for a while, but like we need to kind of keep that in mind. And then Go Mode Quake ended up being there, so it's like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, I never mentioned it during the CAC at all, but like you did have, like you mentioned, you had Ice Rod, you had Cane, and you actually did have, I think, Ether too by the time you got out of CAC. It was really early where you had those 3 items, and I really thought Turtle Rock was a play I needed to do, but I also don't like making that meme like, ooh, you got Ice Rod early, Turtle Rock's the play, you know?
Yeah.
So
No, if it was just Ice Rod, it's like whatever. But with kind of everything we were getting, like it wasn't gonna be like a hey rush Turtle Rock, but a just keep in mind like we got this stuff kind of early, so good to follow.
yeah, like if I was mentoring, I would have told them to go into Ice Palace and go into Swamp first before even touching the mountain, just to try and have more checks to find the Quake before even hitting Turtle Rock.
So thought about that, but we ended up thinking like, okay, you know, Ice Palace was a decent play. We were hoping to find, because we were still at 4 hearts, I think, at that point. Like after getting the stuff in pod, and 4 heart red mail, like it's still red mail, but like 4 hearts Ice Palace is not super fun. So, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, for all you knew, you were in go mode with 4 hearts.
Right. That's what we were talking. I was like, is this pseudo go mode? Like, we need to get to Mire and check it and see if we're boots locked, but this could be go mode. This is crazy. But yeah, the point of the mountain too was not only to potentially check that like earlier TR idea, but also to like kind of see if we could pick up some more safeties on the way up there.
Yeah, like
We never
scaling your
found
health
Cape.
some. Cape was in the front of Skullwoods.
Fun.
So, yeah, you're probably not getting that in go mode.
Yeah, unfortunately for UpLiftingChafe, once they got here a minute ago when they went through Turtle Rock, they went on Laser Bridge and they did the first chest, and the first chest was the key. And then they were in go mode, so they said, all right, we're done. And, you know, the second chest on Laser Bridge is a nice little safety and powder.
Yeah. Yeah, that powder was a great find.
Yeah, doing it backwards. Why not?
Yeah. Well, because we had done the safety door just to be safe. Literally,
Yeah.
its name.
Well, and I knew I was going to take a bunch of lasers to the face, fall in the holes repeatedly, so why not play it safe?
You got a forfeit on UpLiftingChafe's side.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Really didn't feel comfortable doing the after a second death there in Darkmire.
I think that's the
First turn.
third death.
Dark Road's
That is
hard.
death.
Yeah, that room is terrible, and it can go bad, and you get lost very fast. And the entire time, you know, you're just getting peppered with little fireballs.
Yeah.
GG's to UpLiftingChafe. It was
GG's
a
UpLiftingChafe.
big routing decision difference. Like if it was a crystal pod, I think this would have been a much different race.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I believe that completely.
Yeah, or had you guys, you know, dipped out, not hammer jumped,
Yeah.
left the mirror in
True
there.
story.
They would have been what, 1 item or two item pod, and your last item would probably have been in there.
Man, this is just like this. I told Radkin like this just felt like a seed that was like literally built for my routing style, and it worked out so scarily nice. But
You did get
So-
called out. Dawn called you
Yeah.
out.
So let me
of course,
very obscure rule that is in the doc about not giving runner specific advice to your mentee I don't know how
look.
to be enforced, but they're like, well, if the answer is pod, then we've lost because Laoria will have told him to go straight there.
All right, so I did mention it on commentary that hey, look, it's Laoria. That's why they're going to pod. If I was the mentor for Uplifting Chafe, I'd probably say follow into pod. I don't know if that's actually against the rules, like how you're saying. Yeah, because you're metagaming the mentor, not the mentee.
Yeah,
I like it.
We
But
need some clarification.
But chat was pointing out you don't want to be teaching runners metagaming right away.
No.
Like if you want to do research on your opponent, you can and try and make that like something you want to do in your head, but it's not something you should actively be following. Like it pointed out, if you think you're on equal level with your opponent and you know they're going to do something, if you want to follow them and do that to try and keep the pace equal, instead of like, hey, maybe something's there, and if you don't do it because you know they're going to do it, then you're just kind of like messing with yourself. So that's why I liked the play of just following you in, but at the same time, you gotta know when to follow, like when to metagame, when to not. And this is just about learning.
Yeah.
It's not something you have to learn. It's not something you really have to learn. And the first 7 weeks here in Swiss, it doesn't really matter what your record is. It's just once you get to brackets and when you really gotta put the pedal to the metal and put all your knowledge to the test.
So I'll echo that because, like, one of the things that I try to stress for myself, but also stress to others, is play your game. Like, when it comes to 1v1s later on, like, if you know, like, I don't know, if you know somebody checks Lumberjack and you know you can save a little bit of time not checking Lumberjack and skipping it for later, like, those are little things that you can do. Or if you know somebody really likes to dip pendant pod and you want to metagame off that, like, that's fine. But early on, especially, like, play your game, because the more you think about what your opponent is doing, the more it's going to get in your head and mistakes are going to start happening.
also, my darkroom is rough when you've never practiced it. I was telling
Real talk.
Yeah.
telling poor Chafe, like, hey man, do not feel bad because it I wasn't trying to learn this on the fly with the pressure of a restream. I had all the time in the world and it still took me forever. And I still screw it up half the time.
Yeah.
Do you guys
no,
want to
it's
hear?
mean.
You guys want to hear about the intended logic for the lamp?
I would love to know where lamp is.
King's Tomb.
Uh,
Oh, God.
so yeah.
You have
That's
to
rough.
logically go into pod to get the timesmiths and the lamp, to go up the mountain to get the boots, to go back to King's Tomb for the lamp, to get
Indeed.
the mirror.
That's insane. All right, yeah, I'll take the fall for rolling that seed. My fault.
That was a rough seed.
We ended up doing, like, we finished Darkmire, we saved and quit to Saint because I was like, we're gonna buy potions anyway. Let's do Bonk Rocks and King's Tomb just in case we find a sword. Because we were still Master Sword Silverless at this point. It's like, well, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, game. So then I was like, when we got to Torches 1, I was like, do you want to use the lamp for this? Like, we can. Spite lamp.
And you got the full magic drop.
Yeah. Apparently silvers are in the dark world somewhere, so
Probably Pyramid Fairy.
yeah.
I think it's just that or Catfish. I think that's all we didn't see.
Or like hammer pegs, I think.
Hammer Pigs.
Yeah, we didn't go to VOO at all.
Nope.
that doesn't happen very often.
No,
It's just
it
never
doesn't.
touched any Village of Outcast.
Well, no reason to, and everything's in pod, I guess.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I don't know how else to say. Just you independent pod, and then all of a sudden 3 of the items you actually need for go mode are just there.
Yep. Well, and you talk about not metagaming, but even trying to set aside what I know about Laoria's routing style, the choices between an out of logic mountain dip or pendant pod, and once you commit to that mountain play, it's like, well, I got boots, let's try bonk rocks. I got this green pendant, let's turn that in, and it's just more and more of a time sink. Sometimes these things just hinge on that one decision, and then you've got to double down on it.
Yep. Gotta make a choice and stick to it. You don't want to be half committing. I agree to that.
Yeah.
All right. Any last words from the runners here on the seed?
Yeah. GG uplifting chaff. That was super rough. Way to make it through as far as you did, man.
Yeah,
And thank you
GG.
everyone for. Thanks, man. Thank you everyone for the restream. This is my first restream ever. So
Same.
Thanks for everything. I'm really looking forward to going back and watching it. It's really, really cool. Thank you all for doing this tournament for us. I really appreciate it.
Yep, I echo the sentiments. Thanks, guys. GG's.
GG's.
GG.
Yeah, GG's.
GG's. Can't think of a better thought to go out on.
Yeah. Shout out to the crew. Go crew.
This is then later tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Looks like we're trying to set up a restream for the Josh Bittner, mentored by Gamachu, and then against Mr. Ibis,
Looks like
mentored by myself.
looks like there's a
Yo.
change in Josh Bittner's
Oh, mentor, that's
mentor.
right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, it'll be
Worldwide
Worldwide
Wimpy.
Wimpy.
Worldwide
Worldwide
Wimpy. So we get to see what my routing is put to the test. And hoping for a good race there.
Yeah, that should be good. I'm excited.
All right, GG guys. Good luck. I'm out of here.
Later, Radkin. GG.